this is Isabel, who is also known as Baby Bell. Welcome back to our channel. Thank you for joining us. We just wanted to do a little check-in following uploading our first video last week, and also to provide an update on Baby Bell's very eventful week. First of all, thank you so much to those of you who took the time to view our first video. An extra special thanks to all of you who provided feedback and liked and commented on the video. It is really appreciated. So, Baby Bell's eventful week. A little bit of a backstory. When she was first born, we were both really ill due to a very traumatic labour, and she was unable to latch despite lots and lots of help from various different midwives and maternity support workers. We were told a few times that she didn't have tongue tie and that we just had to keep trying to get her to latch. For those of you who don't know what tongue tie is, it's when the skin that attaches their tongue to the bottom of their mouth restricts the movement of the tongue, and it makes it difficult for them to breastfeed, among other things. I ended up expressing for nearly 10 weeks while we tried to get her to latch. I'm actually going to go into more detail about that in a separate video, I think, because I want to talk about the products that we used and also the resources that we found to get us to that nearly 10 weeks, because it's really hard work exclusively expressing. So if any of you out there are doing it, well done, it's a fantastic achievement. Some of the signs that made me think that she did have a tongue tie: obviously the difficulty latching originally. When she did finally latch at 9.5 weeks, she had a very shallow latch. She was on and off. She was a lot more sicky than she was when she was having the same milk from a bottle, and also nipples coming out funny shape after she'd finished a feed. So while this was all going on, our GP at our 6-week check that actually happened at 8 weeks finally referred her to a tongue tie specialist. We eventually had a telephone appointment. We talked about the symptoms that she'd been experiencing, and they agreed that it sounded like she did have a tongue tie. So finally, this week at nearly 16 weeks old, we got a face-to-face assessment, and she was diagnosed with a 75% tongue tie, which was restricting her movement, her tongue movement, and stopping her from feeding properly. Fortunately, I had a good supply from all of the pumping, so she's been able to put on weight. But another one of the signs is the baby's not gaining weight very well. The specialist discussed the benefits of having a tongue tie revision, and we decided that we would go ahead with getting it done while we were there. In young babies, they don't use any form of anaesthetic because apparently there aren't many nerve endings there. So it was a case of I held her head and they snipped it with a pair of surgical scissors. It was a stressful situation for all of us, obviously her going through it, me witnessing it, and her dad, who was sat in the car not knowing whether we were even going to be having this procedure, as he wasn't allowed in. Only one of us were allowed in at a time because of COVID. There was a lot of blood, which I didn't expect, and she was hysterical. They ask you to feed them straight away after they've had it done to stop the bleeding, but she was so hysterical that both of us just ended up with blood all over us. Fortunately, that settled down after a few minutes, and she had a nice little sleep in the car on the way home. However, she had been sleeping through the night for the 5 or 6 nights before the procedure. She was going to sleep at around 9:30 and getting up at 6, which was fantastic. Since she's had it done though, we're now back to being up at 2 AM. You might be able to see the dark circles under my eyes that even Too Faced's Finest hasn't been able to cover. But we also could be experiencing the dreaded 4-month sleep regression. If anybody does have any tips on how to deal with that, please pop them in the comments, because me and some other mum friends that are going through it would be eternally grateful. The other thing that we also seem to be experiencing this week is the beginning of teething, and again we're going to do a separate video on that because we'd like to talk about the products that we're using and just give a little update on what's working for us and what isn't working for us. She has had some enjoyable moments this week though, it hasn't all been awful. We've been out on some lovely walks. But seriously, yep, she really did enjoy those. I thought it was important to share this because it just highlights that you know your own baby, and if you feel that something isn't right, it is just so important to keep pushing until you can get a referral to someone that can help you. Once again, thank you very much for watching our video. We really hope that you enjoyed this one too. Don't forget to subscribe and we'll see you next time. Say bye.